Let's explore the secret behind humanity's widespread fear of hell. Tonight's lesson is drawn from the third verse of Yong Jia Zhuangjui's Song of Enlightenment. By the way, I want to apologize if I have a boo-boo face, my sinuses are unhappy, and it feels like the xenomorph is trying to chew through my forehead. So, tonight's verse. Seeing what is real during their perceptive inhalations, but not as graspable persons or things during their relaxing exhalations, they instantly quench the fires of hell. Meanwhile, those who deceive others with lies denigrating Buddha's quick path deserve to spend kalpas in hell, having their tongues torn out. Well, that's grisly. Why is the fear of hell ubiquitous? Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything is crap. Sadly, that also pertains to meditation teachers. Sadly, the majority tend to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, which is pretty damn ironic if you ask me. So it's not at all surprising that the rigid and controlling will prey upon the primal fears of others. Because what human has never had their finger hit by a hammer, or pinched in a car door, or stubbed a toe, or burned a finger while they were cooking? Everybody has a primal reaction to these fears, not because we're cowards, because these fears in days of yore would be a death sentence when there were no antibiotics. An injury could lead to maiming or infection or sepsis. So these dreads of injury, our visceral reaction to injury and trauma, is the same as it is to the peril of dealing with a wild animal that could gore us or maim us or eat us alive. These are primal responses. These are to existential threats. They are rational, they are ancient, they are hardwired into us. And there are people who will use them against us. Fortunately, there have always been some who choose to be flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. The flexible, loving, and laid back are keen to assuage our fears of hell, reminding us that during each inhalation, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to notice things vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Seeing what is real during their perceptive inhalations. During our exhalations, we are wired, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous systems, to physically relax and mentally release. So here's how it works. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our inhalation could feel less graspable. But not as graspable persons or things during their relaxing exhalations. So this is the basic method of mindfulness and meditation. What are its benefits? They instantly quench the fires of hell. Hell, my friends, is figurative. Back in high school, one of my kindest teachers, Mr. Wilhite, he used to say, as you get older, you come to realize that physical pain pales before the specter of emotional pain. So the hells we ought to fear are the hells of our own creation in this life, the hells of our own rage and their consequences, the hells of our own hate and its consequences, the tyranny of our greed and its consequences, the tyranny of our befuddlement and its consequences, the tyranny of our jealousy and its consequences, the tyranny of our pride and its consequences. In this life, if we're arrogant, it's going to have a negative effect on our relationships, on our experience in this life. The fires of hell are just a metaphor. But still, I wouldn't wish hate, greed, befuddlement, jealousy, pride, and their consequences on anybody. How can we transcend these tendencies to be controlled and dominated, to have our choices and utterances and deeds act like the marionette puppets of our hate, greed, befuddlement, jealousy, and pride? We were able to transcend those things. And whatever we notice during our inhalation by relaxing during our exhalation, the dynamo of mindfulness and meditation is the get out of jail free card that allows us to perceive really yucky things without being controlled by really yucky things. Now, according to the author of the text, the irony is that those who would undermine our ability to transcend the figurative hell in our lives are probably those who deserve to endure the figurative hell in their lives. Meanwhile, those who deceive others with lives denigrating the Buddhist quick path deserve to spend kalpas in hell having their tongues torn out. So kalpas, according to contemporary science, would be an unfathomably long period of time measured in billions of years. Those who would undermine the antidote are wrong. So here are the ones who deserve such yuckiness. But here's the great irony. That antidote is available to them as well. So in conclusion, now that we have a bit more understanding of the third verse of the text, together let us recite it. Sing what is real during their perceptive inhalations, but not as graspable persons or things. During their relaxing exhalations, they instantly quench the fires of hell. Meanwhile, those who deceive others with lies denigrating Buddha's quick path deserve to spend kalpas in hell having their tongues torn out. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, reverse engineering, and mastering the teachings and techniques of each school of Taoism and Buddhism so that you wouldn't have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So I've taken the Song of Enlightenment and kind of treated it like a sadhana, adding a bit of loving kindness recitations before it and after it like bookends. The Song of Enlightenment was composed in the 8th century by Yongjie. It has been translated in English by Red Pine and adapted and amplified by yours truly. I find it beneficial to put all the Buddha's teachings within the context of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. I found a useful way to strengthen our intention to practice right aspiration, right view, and right zeal. The second, first, and sixth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is to perform 2 recitations of empathetic bodhicitta and enthusiastic refuge. The first version is rather literal, and so we will set it to a triplet inspired chant together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, by relying on thee, Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Consider, if you will, these 3 nouns. They've been so useful to meditators for so many centuries that they've earned the metaphoric nickname of the 3 wish-fulfilling jewels, like Aladdin's lamp. This version of the same intention is more figurative and thus more concise. We're going to set it to a bookend chant, which is my jam. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. We open and close our practice, our session, our sadhana, with the practice of the union of love and letting go. We're now going to practice mindfulness and meditation, which is a practice of the union of awareness and letting go. As children, the first bicycle we received most likely came with training wheels, which, although were clunky, got the job done. Similarly, this evening's first meditation is going to be equally ungainly. During our inhalation, let's do 2 things. First, let's generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. Second, let's silently and mentally recite the 12 syllables, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. During our exhalation, let's do 2 more things. First, let's physically relax as best we can, while silently and mentally reciting an additional 12 syllables, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Let's chant. Now, when we chant, let's press our palms together in front of our sternum, but use the puckered palm position. That's when we slide our thumbs up, and it makes our palms pucker. When we hold our hands before our sternum and chant, we wind up viscerally and intuitively practicing the Bindu Mahamudra's union of bliss and letting go. Do you not see apparently idle followers of the way? Just want to make sure everything's the sound is recording okay, because I've had some bad luck this week. Okay, excellent. Not actively studying, not apparently busy, not actively getting rid of delusions, not actively looking for the truth. The nature of their ignorance is the same as their aware, laid back and loving Buddha nature. Their illusory empty bodies or their Dharma bodies of the mastery of awareness and release. The Dhamma body they realize does not include a graspable thing. Their original nature is the primordial Buddha's awareness, letting go and love. It is as if the five skandhas were for feeling, intensity, impulse, and awareness, whereas non-graspable is clouds floating aimless in the sky. The three poisons of hating, craving, and clinging like mere bubbles, all appearing then gone. Seeing what is real during the perceptive inhalations, but not as graspable as persons or things. During the relaxing exhalations, they instantly quench the fires of hell. Meanwhile, those who deceive others with lies, denigrating Buddha's quick path, deserve to spend kalpas in hell, having their tongues torn out. So our opening and closing recitations of love are known by many names, including the union of love and letting go, Tandra Mahamudra, Mahayoga, and Tokal's leap over. This chanting is known by many names. Bliss and letting go, Bindu Mahamudra, Anu Yoga, and Tikle drop. Instant understanding is thus common Tathagata meditation. Every practice and perfection is present in your body's tissues, facilitating awareness and release. These six paths of existence look real in a dream. Once you're awake, the whole universe is gone. No punishments or blessings, nothing lost or gained. As for the heart of Nirvana, do not ask for directions. Regarding that unpolished, dust-covered mirror, it is time you took a closer look at the preconceptions of the minions of Yang. The who has no thoughts, who is not born. What is truly not born is not born. Ask a tailor's thoughtless mannequin made of wood. How is that quest for mind blanking in the name of Buddhahood coming? Now let us remove the first of two metaphoric training wheels, reducing our contemplative exercise from 12 syllables per breath down to just 3. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, notice this. During our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing. And as we do, you will find that you are practicing Sati Passaddhi. Let go your grip on the material world. In the heart of nirvana, sustainably eat and drink your fill free from the tyranny of chasing and fleeing. Practices are ephemeral. Everything experienced during or relaxing exhalation could feel as if it is as not graspable as a vast empty void. This is the path of the perfect enlightenment of the Buddhas. Speaking with conviction could be a sign of a true monk. Those unable to indulge in asking questions. The big picture thinking of suffering roots is what marks a Buddha. Picking through the leaves and twigs of mastering minutia is not for me. People do not notice the wish of filling jewel among jewels, waiting for them in the Buddha nature's Tathagata Garba. Its sixfold power is neither empty nor not. It's perfect like neither visible nor not. We purify the five roots of hating, craving, confusion, competing, and clinging that we passively notice during our inhalation. And acquire the five abilities of the wisdoms that are mirror-like, discerning, basic, all-accomplishing, and equalizing as we relax into our exhalation. Only then will you know what cannot be measured. An image in a mirror is not hard to see, but try to grasp the moon in the water. Setting out alone, walking alone, those who arrive take the Nirvana road. Oopsie. Their appearance ancient, their manner detached, ragged and gone, they are not noticed. Disciples without means they are called poor, poor in possessions but not in freedom. Being poor, of course they wept. The practice is treasuring the jewel within. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Let us remove the second of two metaphoric training wheels. Thus, reducing our contemplative exercises from 3 syllables per breath down to just 1. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Doing so, we'll be practicing jhana. The price. So, what helps when we chant is if you place your hands in the puckered palm position before your sternum. This helps to coalesce, it helps our subtle, real or imagined energy to coalesce within our central channel at the level of our heart, which is what some people call Bindu Mahamudra, or the union of bliss and openness. The priceless wish of having true love, noticing and releasing with inexhaustible uses, never withholds its help or response. The three bodies of the mastery of awareness and letting go, bliss and letting go, as well as love and letting go. And the four insights of stress, empathy, change, and not self, all present within. The 8 freedoms and 6 powers all mark the mind. Gifted people embrace it all concerning the way at once. Lesser minds zero, but are not enthusiastic. Thinking about superficialities like changing their clothes. They claim they are making incremental progress. Let people mock another speaker of Buddha's quick path. Let them tire themselves out trying to burn the sky. Vulnerably hearing the words is like tasting sweet dew. I swallow into my relaxing exhalation and suddenly enter the inconceivable. In hateful words I see a chance for merit. They have become my closest advisors. Not letting ridicule make enemies of friends. I show the power of accepting the metaphor that nothing is born by relaxing into my exhalation. Know the words and know the source. Do not over-focus on the emptiness of wisdom's light of perception and sensation. This is not something I alone have learned. Countless Buddhas have realized this too. The lion roars and speaks without fear. Lesser beasts hear and cower in fright. Wild elements seize the rampaging way. Sky dragons listen in silent rapture. Now that we've reached contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team let us meditate as transformatively as Luke on Dagobah under the guidance of Yoda. I have traveled great rivers, crossed mountains and streams, seeking teachers and masters to better understand meditation. Ever since taking the Cow River Road, I have discovered that by relaxing into my exhalation, it feels as if life and death have no hold on me. Walking is meditation, sitting is meditation, speaking or silent, moving or still I am at peace. Even at knife point I notice and release, thus I remain unmoved. Even the three mental poisons cannot permanently affect me. It is said that before my teacher, the Buddha, Medipankara, he spent kalpas as Kshanti the ascetic. How many births, how many deaths, birth and death go on without end. Since suddenly I realize that nothing is as graspable as if it was myself or had been born. I have learned how to treat fame and shame the same. I have moved to a mountain and found a quiet place, deep and secluded beneath tall pines. An outsider monk, I enjoy sitting still, settled at last I am truly at peace. Those who are awake do not engage in manipulatively giving gifts. In a world of conditioned beings, however, it is different. Giving alms for a good rebirth one is still attached to form. You may as well shoot an arrow into the sky. Its momentum spent and arrow falls back to the earth, resulting in another disappointing life. Unlike inhalations, awareness and exhalations release, which is the door to the real and unconditioned. Once you step through, you're in the Buddha realm. I ignore the twigs of mastering minutia and look for the root of big picture thinking, the jewel of the moon and pure aquamarine. Once you grasp this wish of filling pearl of inhalations, awareness and exhalations release. It's up to you and others never ends. Moon on the river and wind in the pines. How is interdependence cleared out of permanent sky all night? The pearl of the Buddha nature precepts of love scented spontaneity deeply mark the mind while mist and clouds superficially shroud the body. My greedy dragon subduing bold and my hateful tiger calming staff with his two rings echoing on the trail. It is not for pointing out the mundane, but for pointing out the tracks left by the Tathagata's precious staff of non-violence. Do not search for the truth and do not dismiss delusion. Realize both are empty and have no form. No form but neither empty nor not empty. That is the Tathagata's real form of even letting go of grasping's antidote. Nothing obstructs the river of the mind, illuminating a universe of countless realms, where millions of images appear, neither inside nor outside the perfect light. Saying everything is empty, they dismiss the laws of karma. Such recklessness of relying on impulsiveness as justifications rather than love is sure to bring misfortune. Renouncing existence for emptiness is the same as jumping into a fire to escape a flood. Letting delusions go and grasping the truth. The so-called letting go, grasping mind as a master of disguising aversion. Students unaware who take this for their only practice mistake a thief for their child, forgetting that grasping at the so-called truth is still grasping. Reducing your Dharma wealth or cancelling your merit invariably results from discriminations of the mind that stray from the simplicity of this. That is why in meditation we set mind aside. We use the power of exhalations, relaxation instead, thus feeling that nothing is born. The great Bodhisattva Manjushri holding the figurative sword of wisdom, with its insightful prajna blade and indestructible diamond-like Vajra flames. Not only did he cut through the mind of heretics, he first entered the mara of impulsiveness, his brazen ways. He shook his Dharma thunder and beat his Dharma drum. He spread clouds of compassion and showers of sweet dew. The trampling of elephants covered the world with moisture. Whatever the path or lineage, everyone woke up despite the folly of sectarianism. Spontaneously occurring Himalayan butter with nothing added. It alone produces my favorite ghee. The nature of randomly noticing and releasing that pervades all natures of shoving and reaching. The Dharma that includes all Dharmas. A single moon is reflected in every drop of water. Within every water drop is held a single moon. Every Buddha's Dharma body is my nature. My nature is one with every Tathagata. At every stage, all stages are present, but not in form of mind and not in what you do. Snap your fingers and countless dharma appear. Three kalpas go by in an instant. As for all statements being no statements, that means nothing to this enlightened nature of mind. That is why you're to notice, let go, and love. It cannot be slandered and it cannot be praised. Like space, it has no boundaries. It is not never not present. Let's try this again. It is never not present and always clear, but actively looking, you cannot see it. You cannot actively grab it, you cannot actively let it go. When you cannot find it, that is when you will find it. It speaks when it is silent when it speaks. When the gate of gifts open, nothing stands in its way. People ask what is the source of my understanding, I tell them. The power of the great wisdom that comes from inhalations, awareness, and exhalations release. If it is right or wrong, nobody knows. If it makes sense or not, not even the gods can tell. I have been practicing this for kalpas, and not just to make people confused. Flying the Dharma flag, announcing the school's doctrine. Clearly the Buddha's teachings is at Shaoxi. It is said Kashyapa was the first to transmit the lamp, the first of 28 generations in the West. The Dharma traveled east and reached this land. Bodhidharma was our first patriarch, the first of 6 to wear the robe and spread the word. Those who understood later were countless. We do not define the truth, delusions are already empty. We define what is and what is not, but we do not empty emptiness. It's 20 different kinds, so no consents of ours. We share the universal Tathagata nature of awareness, letting go and love. The minions of Yang have taught the mind is a sense organ and objects or its sensations. Think of them as streaks on a mirror, and light finally shining when the streaks are gone. But the acolytes of Yin insist to forget the mind and objects. It is your nature that is important. It is an evil age and the Dharma is ending. People are not happy and lack self-control. Ignoring the sage ape of mistaken views, Mara becomes stronger as their hatred multiplies. Hearing about the Buddha's sudden teaching, they wish they could grind it into rubble like captured crabs, bitterly undermining each other's escape. What needlessly arduous path the mind creates, the body suffers or endures. No need to claim injustice or shift the blame. If you are hoping to avoid the endless fire-like stresses of karma's folly, do not forsake the Tathagata's true antidote of inhalations, awareness, and exhalations release. In a forest of nothing but sandalwood trees, where it is lush and remote lions dwell. In this sylvan-wooded quiet they roam where they will. Other beasts, even birds, keep their distance. Lion cubs all trail behind. By the time they all three they can roar. Foxes who follow the Dharma King, after lifetimes of mischief they can only yap. The sudden teaching is free of sentimentalities, elitism, as long as does remain arguments follow. This mountain monk is not just banging his drum. He cares who might fall into the nothing all forever trouble of relying exclusively on awareness or release. No or no, yes or not, yes. To miss by an inch is the same as 1,000 miles. Yes, and a dragon maiden suddenly became a Buddha. No one soon Nakshatra fell into hell alive. I learned a lot when I was young. I read sutras and shastras and studied commentaries. The names and just never seem to end. Like counting grains of sand in the sea, it was such a waste of effort. Golden body Tathagata were good as counting others' treasures. I realized all my efforts had been in vain. All the years I had wasted braving dust and wind. Misguided from the start, my understanding wrong. I did not know how the Buddha's sudden teaching worked. Why devotees of lesser powers did not see the way. Why unbelievers may be clever but not wise. They are so foolish, so stupid, pointing to the palm to explain what is real. Mistaking a finger for the moon as they take figurative statements as literal. Turning objects of the senses into ghost stories they forsake awareness and cling to release. Who does not see a thing as truly graspable as a Tathagata, hence the name looking from on high. Those who understand the lessons of perception and release are free of karmic burdens. Those who do not still level debts do pay. A hunger that keeps them from being satisfied by even a royal meal. A sickness not even a great physician can cure. To meditate despite the presence of desire is the power of wisdom's prajna, and why a lotus is not burned in the fire. Jungji committed crimes and realized nothing is born. He became a Buddha and is still one today. When the lion roars his fearless teaching, it pities confused obstinate fools, who only sees offenses that prevent Buddhahood. Blind to the secret the Tathagata revealed of the efficacy of awareness and release. 2 monks were guilty of crime, so Gyatso party with his firefly light. Laymen Vimalaka to dismiss her doubts as the sun melts the snow. Inconceivable is the power of liberation. Its uses as countless as the Ganges grains of sand. Who would not give every possible offering, such as 10,000 ounces of gold? But even if one's flesh and blood would fall short, the unsurpassed king of the Dharma, take two. The unsurpassed king of all dharmas, realized by more Buddhas than the Ganges has grains of sand. This wish of feeling true I have revealed. May all who accept it do the same. Look around, there is not a thing to be permanently grasped. There are no people, there are no Buddhas. All the worlds in the universe are as evanescent as bubbles in the sea. All the sages and worthies are as fleeting as mere lightning. Even if an iron will rolled across my skull, meditation wisdom's light would still shine. Let the sun turn cold and the moon turn warm. Not even an army of demons can destroy the truth. When an elephant pulls a cart up a mountain, has anyone seen a mountain's sprocket sway? Elephants do not follow rabbit trails. Enlightenment is not confined by minor rules. Do not vilify the sky when you are looking at it through a reed. If you still do not understand, this is for you. Let us practice love and letting go as rapidly we perform the chants of kind ethics as well as the 4 immeasurables. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.